Yo, what is going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over how these two guys from Manchester built a multi-million-pound fashion brand called Yelir World using their personal brands, but without actually showing their faces. And you might be thinking, how can you build a personal brand without even showing your face? Well, this is not something that you see often, but they've actually used that to their advantage and used it in a way that's very beneficial to them. And there's a lot you can learn from this brand. They've blown up in the past few years, but they've been in this game a very long time. This video is for any existing D2C ecom brand owners looking for methods to grow their own business. This is for any aspiring e-commerce entrepreneurs, and this is for anyone interested in making money online or just interested in the Yalia brand as a whole. So if you are in any of those camps, then this video is going to be for you. What we're going to cover in today's video, we're going to cover how these two guys that own Yelir World leveraged their personal brand to build a multi-million-pound brand. And we're going to cover what Yalia does extremely well within their business, how they did it, and how you can replicate it for your own. And we're also going to cover the current marketing strategies that they are using to operate at the level they are currently at on the e-commerce side of things. So there's going to be a lot to learn in today's video. So first things first, we want to look at these personal brands. Now, this is predominantly through Instagram. This is going to be the best platform for something like this because they can't really do YouTube long form talking head videos if they're not showing the face, right? But these guys have been popping on Instagram for quite a while. They're very in touch with the target market and they know exactly what the target market wants. Straight away, what you'll notice different about these guys' profile, they both blur their faces. So there's actually two owners here, Joseph and then Yalia, right? And these guys have a very luxury aesthetic, for their Instagram, right? They're traveling, they're going to nice places, that's Courchevel or the French skiing place, Miami, New York, luxury lifestyle, luxury clothing, designer clothing. They're touching a very strong aesthetic, and they're also always seen in luxury cars. They've got photos with luxury cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and they've also got quite a lot of celebrity endorsements that they're associated with. So you can tell from their aesthetic, they're going after a certain thing. And they're also choosing to do like popular sports like paddle, just because these guys know what's trending, right? They know what their market and their target market is interested in. They're showcasing that on their actual personal brand, and they're probably living that lifestyle anyway, right? I know there's a lot of people BS faking out there, but I know for a fact that these guys are legit. So this is definitely one to look into. So the point of this is an aspirational lifestyle. Okay, people want to live this life. They want to travel these places. They want to dress like this. They want to be cool guys. They want to be seen with celebrities. So they're able to speak directly to their target market, okay? Because they're living the luxury lifestyle of their target market. Okay, everybody wants more money. Everyone wants to travel. But you've got to think, if it's some hippie and they want to go to Bali and find themselves, that type of character is not going to be interested in this, okay? The same way if you've got some old money, Ralph Lauren style, Loro Piana, dad's a millionaire type of guy, he might want to be dressed in linen and be in the south of France, and he might not be interested in necessarily this lifestyle and this type of aesthetic look. So they're appealing to a certain type of the market. Everybody's interested in luxury, right? But there's different types and different segments for different characters, and that's what these guys do very well. So these are focusing on more of a new money style compared to the old money style, right? Very like northern style where it's the tracksuits and trainers type of thing. So lads from Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, that's what this type of clothing, that's what they're going to wear, right? And this is what's different about the personal brand. So the thing that's different is they're always covering the faces. Now, the reason why this adds to the mystique is because you're looking at these guys, right? They're always seen with celebrities. They're always traveling to all these places. They've got a lot of followers. They've got all the watchers and they've got all the lifestyle, but they never show the faces, right? So as a customer, in their mind, they want to look into the brand more. They feel a pull towards the brand because they want to find out who that person is. So they're always on the lookout for who is this guy, right? It really adds to that mystique. Now, in my opinion, these guys have copyrighted this now. If you were to go build a personal brand and cover your face, you couldn't really do it. It wouldn't hit the same because they've started taking this aesthetic. But it draws and really pulls towards the personal brand. These guys would probably have a good personal brand without it, right? Even if they showed the faces. But this is just what they decided to do for whatever personal reasons. And look, it works, okay? Now, the reason why we've started with this is because this is one of the tools that they use to actually nurture the audience in the first place, right? So when you're creating an e-commerce brand, right, once you get it to a certain level and you've created the brand reputation and brand awareness, then you can start running paid advertisements, right? Because there's already traffic and people wanting that product. So you can't start advertising on Google until you have people searching on Google for that product. So previous to that, you need to have a way of nurturing the audience. And what you're going to find is people are getting creative on doing this with social media. And that is what these guys have done. They've created an aesthetic and they've created an audience and then created the product around their audience. And what you'll notice in both these guys' bios is the brands that they have and also the URL. Now, Yelir is doing a different networking event at the minute, but usually they will both have yelirworld.com. So again, this is the traffic source. This is where they've nurtured the initial people. Now, what people don't understand is there's different levels to e-commerce. So you only need 1,000 people that are really interested in buying, or even 100 people when you're starting out. In the beginning especially, this is important because you're getting organic visitors to go to your website, you can capture the email addresses, you can get them following the business page, and then you've already built that trust and loyalty with that group of people, but now you've got a product to actually sell them that they can purchase. So this is a major part of what has made Yalia what it is today. And look, this is something that these guys are very good at, and that is knowing their target customers. These guys use their personal brand to touch cultural reference points that their target market is interested in. So I'll give you an example. When the new Netflix show Top Boy came out, there's a guy called Michael, I forgot his second name, but there's an actor called Michael and he's one of the main actors. These guys had him wearing Yelir World, right? They know how to network and they know who is watching what and they get them on that certain person at each time, right? So they know their target market very well, and their target market is 18 to 30-year-old males living in England, interested in sportswear clothing, listens to UK rap, likes luxury lifestyle, likes football, and goes to the gym. And the reason why I know this is because I'm their target market, right? I'm their target market. I'm from the north of England. I go to the place that these guys go to in this group. I've been to, went to festivals when I was younger. I go shopping in town centres in the UK. And what you find is you're going to see Yelir World being worn by a certain type of character. I've seen it myself, full groups of lads all wearing the Yelir World stuff. Now, why is that? Well, what they do especially well is by knowing their customer on such a deep level, they tap into the culture and what the customer will be interested in, right? So they create this lifestyle aesthetic by touching multiple touch points. And then they put their product into the aesthetic, okay? So that is where they're creating this lifestyle aesthetic that they know their target customer likes or would like to live, and then they create touch points, including their brand, right? And this is a perfect way that they've done it. So their average customer listens to UK rap. That's why you'll see their clothing brand on rappers such as H, right? That's UK rap. Or you're going to see Taze, Fredo, K-Trap. These guys I've selected in particular. You've got to think they're not going to go get pictures with Adele, okay? I'm sure if they tried hard enough, they could do it. I don't know, Adele's pretty big, but you can see what I'm saying. The guys are choosing people to match their target audience and their brand's aesthetic, but it's done in a subtle way. This is a super tasteful, professional way because they're doing this on their personal brands, right? They're not pushing this as a brand campaign. They're just making relationships and then putting the products within that relationship, okay? So this is what these guys do extremely well. They are very good high-level networkers. Now, what they also do is they realise that all their customers that go to festivals, music events, go shopping in town centres, like designer clothing, in the summer, these guys go to Ibiza, they go to Barcelona. So what they did was, last year, or maybe the year before, 2024, they went and put a billboard up in Ibiza because they know that thousands and thousands of their target customers are going from the UK to Ibiza that summer, right? So then they see the brand there, and then you're also getting the association with the brand and these luxury places, right? So every time you think of Yalia now, you think of H, a big rapper in the UK wearing the brand, and then if you go to Ibiza, you're seeing the brand again, and you're associating it with things that you like, okay? And the same thing, these guys like watching football, going to the gym, so when you see Wayne Rooney wearing it, endorsing the brand, this is done on purpose. This is done to be culturally relevant, right? So if you're a customer that listens to H, goes to Ibiza and likes Wayne Rooney, which is probably most UK lads in the 20s, right? You're going to be getting touched by this marketing message, right? You're going to understand it. You're going to feel it a lot more. They handpick culturally relevant people and places to be seen to associate their brand with the interest of their target market, right? Incredibly powerful. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy to get a cap on Wayne Rooney or you're going to be best friends with H, right? But at whatever level that you're at and whatever type of business that you can do a variation of this. You can think, where do my customers spend time? It's like, even if I was a local barber wanting more custom, well, maybe you can go to a restaurant or maybe you can go to a car garage and you can get different touch points for your type of customer. Now, that's not an e-commerce brand, right? But that's just an example. Anybody can do a different variation of this, but this is something that these guys understand very, very well, and a massive reason to why they've blown up to the level that they really have. Now, another point I want to touch on is the winning product. Now, you will see this cap everywhere, and I am 100% sure this is one of the most popular products. Why? Because I've been to the festivals, I've been to the town centres, right? I've seen this cap on so many people, including my own friends. I've seen it on holidays. I have seen this cap all over the place. Now, in my opinion, this cap has had a massive part to play in Yalir's brand success. This has really put them on the map. Now, why is that? Well, it's an affordable price point for one. Okay, it's only 50 quid. And a market alternative like a D squared cap. This came out at a similar time when those trucker style hats were getting very popular. That's an £150 hat, right? This is 50 quid, same quality. And they have more colours. Now, what they also do, which is very, very clever and very culturally relevant, what you'll notice is on certain trainers or sneakers, you know, in the UK, what guys are wearing, they will make when an Air Max 95 is popular, which it is for their target market, they will make a colourway that matches an Air Max 95, okay? And vice versa, when there's a trending colour, they will make a colour around that or around an item of clothing. And this just makes it more culturally relevant, just shows the level of the understanding. Now, this is a perfect accessory for brand awareness. It's a big logo on the top of everybody's head, right? Well, when you're getting Wayne Rooney walking around with your logo on his head, that's when the logo's going to be getting seen. He's going to be getting pictures taken of paparazzi, whatever. It's recognisable. It makes it recognisable, okay? Now, this is going to be a super low return rate also because it's a one-size-fits-all. It's a hat, okay? You're not going to have style of fitting, not really fitting right as much. And even if you do get it returned, it's quite cheap. It's the perfect upsell product, meaning you can sell this product along with full outfits, tracksuits, coats, and you can always have it on your website as an added on item, which is very powerful to increase your average order value. You as a brand owner want every type of customer walking around in a product like this. Now, Represent have it with the Represent Owners Club hoodie, which has a big logo on the back and a small logo on the chest. These are the type of products that get the brand known. Okay, and now these brands do it under the radar. They never say this publicly, but when you've got these big logos that get popular, you've got people walking around doing free marketing for you, right? And look, I've seen one of these hats in person. I know where to get these hats. Don't ask me because I'm not going to tell you, but you know, it's good profit as well on these hats. It's really good profit, right? And what you're going to also notice is if you've got a hat you can sell out, you can send it to hundreds of influencers at super low cost, right? You've got to think, if you've got a hat, and you might just send them to 1,000 football players, right? If one football player wears it, it might be worth it, okay? That's how you've got to think about it. So it's also a timeless style, right? This is not the type of thing that's going to necessarily go out of fashion anytime quickly, whereas, you know, if you make a custom coat for your clothing brand, well, you can't sell the coat in summer, and also by next year, the coat's probably not going to be in style. With a hat, it's a little bit different. So this is a perfect type of product, and to have this as your winning product is very, very, very strong. A signature brand-focused product matched with a hand-picked, high-profile awareness person is a killer combo, as you've seen for this brand, right? Now, a lot of brands blow up once they find this winning product, because what this winning product does, it spreads market awareness massively, and it also gets their brand out there, and it gives them, or it can give them, the necessary cash that you need in order to actually grow your business properly, right? When you find the winning products in the beginning, it can unlock that capital restriction that you've got. You can go into buy more clothing lines, you can go into buy more paid advertising, and that's where you can really start growing an e-commerce brand and putting some capital behind it. So for all e-commerce brands, I mean, this is a big term in the dropshipping space. It's the same sort of principle, right? Once you find that winning product, you can build a brand around that winning product because it's a sign that the market wants it. And if you do it properly and people like your product that you're selling, you're on to a winner, okay? And no doubt this was influenced by the high-level marketing. Look, these guys got these caps on some serious players, but that's not done with ease. Now, you can look at that and think, well, you know, these guys know people, I don't, but everyone's got to start somewhere. I can guarantee these guys did not start at the top. So you've got to think that there is a way to do it, and these guys are just two guys from Manchester. So this can give you the unlock the capital. And when you take a look at Yelir World itself, so again, this is just a quick look at the page. Very luxury aesthetic and very brand focused. Shout out Dave O'Howarth, by the way. And look, same sort of thing with their brand, right? It's a similar sort of aesthetic, that grayscale luxury. They've still got the cars in. It matches both their personal brands. And the type of products are to suit their target market, right? You notice this looks like a little bit like a Palm Angels tracksuit or a Moncler tracksuit. They've always got shoes that the target market will be wearing. So every single touch point is thought out, okay? This is not by random. They've redesigned what is popular. They keep bringing out different variations of the hat. This is the signature, you know, the signature logo, right? And again, they bring out the type of jackets that are very popular, like a windbreaker style jacket, in the colorways that are popular. Like this is a popular color for like a Nike windrunner jacket, okay? So they're making their own variations. They know what type of products the target market are wearing, and they're making a different variation to suit that. And you still see a little bit of the luxury lifestyle. They put a Lambo in the warehouse. That's pretty G, I'm not going to lie. And Cybertruck in the background. Yeah, you know, these guys, what they're doing, they're really good at social media, and they know how to really market the products. Look, get the logo on the private jet, why not? And what you're also going to see is they've brought out the Yelir World performance. Now, again, it's the same sort of principles that they've done with this. They're getting quite high-level sports people, Jonathan Haggerty, Muay Thai fighter. They're getting the right people. They're touching the culturally correct people with the performance, okay? Billy Dennis, they're getting a proper good selection of people, and actual athletes, Kazma, to represent the product and wear the products. So that's how they're able to touch, because they're using that same principle that they learned before, right? That networking principle. They know that to get the brand seen with those certain types of people, that is what they're going to be appealing towards. And again, look, the clothing's it's simple. It's very, very, very similar to Nike. Very similar to Nike, yeah? But it's different. It is different, okay? And this might be very good quality clothing. I've never had it before. And what you also want to notice with these brands, right? The way that you can make your brand look like a very high-performing brand is to just go get a model that is used by massive brands. Okay, you will see, I'm pretty sure this guy's been in On Running before. He's definitely been in a lot of big brands. I've seen him everywhere. I'm not sure of his name, but he will be an expensive model to use. But the benefit of using a model like that is that you get then associated with those higher level brands. So what you'll notice when you start looking at these guys is the level of detail that they have and the level of extra steps that they've taken. That is why the brand is so strong, right? Because they put the extra effort in. They put the higher quality. They pay for the higher quality. They go and put the effort in. Look, even Central Sea wearing the brand. They know what they're doing, right? These guys are not beginners, but they're really taking those extra steps. If you start reverse engineering all these steps, you can go create. You can go do this. You know, you could go get some custom tennis balls and go make a photo like this. There's nothing stopping you. You can really do it. And once you start getting your clothing on a few people, this is stuff that you can do yourself. But, you know, it's clear that these guys have found a system that works for them, and they're really rinse and repeating that. So let's take a quick look at the website. As soon as you click on, you're going to see that they're capturing emails for email marketing. This is very good and what I'd like to see. Ideally, you want a little bit of a £10 off or something like that. But look, these guys are doing something right. It's working for them. I'm sure they've tested all options. So, you know, it makes sense. And again, on the website, same sort of aesthetic as the Instagrams, right? They're pushing that lifestyle, minimalistic, simple website. cars in the background, same sort of model as we were talking before. Type of product selection is the type of clothes that the target market is wearing, right? They're sort of creating this look, full tracksuit and a cap type of thing. Again, luxury lifestyle at a nice place, nice car in the background. They really know what they're doing. And when you take a look over at the Facebook ad library, they're not actually running that many ads at the minute, but you can see a couple of them are from November. So they're probably making money off these ads, because otherwise they wouldn't have been paying for the ads for the past 3 months, right? You know that they're making money off it, 4 months. You know that they're making money off this just because it's been running for so long. This one ad right here, they might be spending £1,000 a day, £2,000 a day, £3,000 a day. But one thing that they do now, which they didn't use though, is Google Ads. Now, Google Ads is good because Google Ads is search-based marketing. So when it's search-based marketing, you're finding that people are typing the specific kind of product, meaning the buying intention is much, much higher. But for Google, you have to do branded products. Now, if you were just a brand starting out and you started bidding for your keyword, if you've not done the steps that these guys have done before, then nobody's going to be even bidding for your keyword, right? No one's going to be searching. So there's no point doing that. You have to create the demand first. And it's funny, look, they're even selling flipping Yalia hats on Temu now. That's pretty crazy. So but that's how you know your brand's getting big, right? That's how you know a lot of people are wearing it. But I wouldn't be buying any stuff off there. It's all garbage. But yeah, Google shopping campaigns they're doing. I'm sure they're making a lot of money off Google, but they've already created that hype. You know, this is what's important. They've already got thousands of people that they've nurtured properly, and now they're sort of enjoying the fruits of the labour later down the line. So what you'll see here as well is the performance range, all these similar sort of colours, and they're also doing the full sets type of vibes, right? You know, when you do the full sets, what you're going to get is people are going to buy the full set. They're going to buy the full tracksuit. They're going to get the t-shirt as well, and then they've got the cap to match, right? When you get to a higher level in this, you're going to find people are buying the full thing. They're buying the hat, they're buying the full tracksuit, they're buying the gloves. You're going to have average order values much, much higher, right? That's going to create more profitable advertising. The more money that people spend, the more you can spend on ads. The more you can spend on ads, the more you can scale it. So this is, you know, these guys know e-commerce. They know what they're doing. And if you have a quick look onto the product page, what you're going to see is very clean, simple aesthetic. So what you're going to see is pretty simple website, model showcasing the product. But what I like that they have is upsells. Now, again, look, people are going to be spending a lot of money. If you can get an upsell in the right place and you can increase that average order value, the more money that people spend, then the more that you can advertise, which means the more you can spend on ads, the more you can outbid people, the more you can sell, right? That's how you get into a market leader. So these guys know that, and they're doing that very well. They're creating products that accent each other. And this is very strong for increasing the average order value, and they have this in the cart also, which is very, very good. Loads of people are going to be buying these caps, guys, like you wouldn't believe, for real. And they do next day shipping, free shipping, which is always good to see. They do accept returns as well, which is what you want as well. And again, look, it's just simple, right? It's just, you've got to think that the journey of the customer, they're really speaking to the journey of the customer correctly, and they're addressing the customer's needs and desires at different levels of the journey. And when you really start getting that stuff done properly, the e-commerce side of things gets a little bit less important. The amount of influence that social media can have on your business when done properly, it's really unbelievable. It's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and then all the systems and the back end of the e-commerce side, once you get it set up, it's going to be pretty easy. But yeah, again, these guys know what they're doing. Very high quality products. They're very in touch with the market and the customer. Except Klarna and all products, which I'm sure probably 50% of people are buying. And this is worth noting also, I did notice on one of these guys' Instagram stories at one point, there was something like 80% or 70% returning customer rate, like an insanely high returning customer rate. The only way that you're going to get that is from customers enjoying your products. Okay, so it all just comes down to being the product is the highest driving factor, the good quality products. That's a step that cannot be skipped. But when you see the level and the attention to detail that a business like this is doing, it's easy to see how they are going to be making a good quality product because they focus on everything, right? So look, I hope you found some value in that video. I hope there's a few things that you can maybe take away, you've learned, and you can implement onto your own e-commerce business. And yeah, subscribe for more.